Yo, 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 yo. We are here, we are live, and we're ready to go. Just wanted to address the last question of the day. I forgot the last question of the day.
Oh, man. Okay, so last question of the day was, if you walk into an ethnic restaurant and no one is of that ethnicity, how do you feel? Like, really, how do you feel? You know,
What's an example? What would an example be?
An example would be like, let's say you go to a Chinese restaurant that is strictly ran by Indians or Mexicans, or vice versa. You know, let's say you go into a Mexican restaurant because that's a little bit more.
Let's make it more specific. Let's say we walk into an Ethiopian restaurant that is ran by Latinos. How would you guys react? And this is going to be the situation that we have for the entire episode. So remember that situation because that is the ethnicity group we're running with, and that's the one we're flipping the script on. So if I went into an Ethiopian restaurant looking for some food and it was ran entirely by Latinos, how would I feel, and how do I feel when walking in?
So let's start with that. Yeah, how do you feel when you walk into this ethnic restaurant? You're like about to have some bomb Ethiopian food. It's established that it's Ethiopian food. You walk in there, you see your Latino homies.
Are the Yelp reviews boosted at all?
Let's exclude that. Let's exclude collective knowledge. This
Okay.
is just you. Let's say you drove by.
Just moving into the area.
Moving into the area. You have an inkling for some Ethiopian food. You walk up in there, see Latinos. Okay, wait. One thing I want to address at the beginning. We don't have any problem with any race whatsoever. This is just a creative scenario that we developed. I just want to lay that
Just a quick disclaimer.
Yeah.
So how do I feel when walking in? Honestly, I'm probably going to feel a bit bizarre and out of place. Coming from an Asian background, you know, if I go to an Asian restaurant, I'm looking for Asian food. Knowing I'm an Asian person going to an Ethiopian restaurant that is ran mainly fully by Latinos, I'm just going to be a bit confused because I'm not sure if it's going to be as traditionally made as the normal Ethiopian dish would be.
That's good.
I'm a bit maybe going to question I'd like to question the manager just to get a fuller idea on everything going on within the structure, but I don't believe that I will feel fully engaged in the experience that it's going to offer due to the idea that there's not full Ethiopian people running the restaurant, but they're claiming to be the Ethiopian restaurant. So I mean, I'll accept it for the moment in time being and give it a chance, but I'm not just gonna walk in, walk out. I'm just gonna, look around and really just realize, am I really here right now? Is this really going on? And give it a shot. So, but how would you feel?
I would say I have a very similar approach. Like you walk in there, and of course I'm not one to judge. So I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But I can definitely see what you're saying. That there's a little bit of a loss of authenticity. You want to see that sort of heritage that everyone's looking for the family recipe.
When you go to a restaurant, you go for the experience. Whether it's an Italian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, you're going for the experience of either that food or a family-owned restaurant, whatever it may be. So
that's, for me personally, it is that experience. But if I'm going to an ethnic restaurant specifically, I want to taste something that has been passed down for generations from that particular culture. And again, I'm not one to judge, so I got to taste the food, give them the benefit of the doubt, but will I question them? A little bit, because I'm going to be like,
have to.
Yeah, of course, because if I walk in and, you got my Latino homies, you'd be like, yo, you guys are from a different part of the world, you guys are by us, and Ethiopia is the other direction, so that's a little bit of a disconnect. But again, who's to say that the manager doesn't have an Ethiopian wife,
Wow.
or grew up in Ethiopia?
Wow.
For all, you never know, but it seems like both of us would question it at the beginning.
So would your reaction be to give it the benefit of the doubt?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would be shocked. Yeah. Most definitely. I would be shocked. And I would look around and I'd be like, hey, black people and you, we're my brothers, we're the homies. But, I gotta wait for that food to come out because that ultimately determines everything.
That's what you're there for.
Yeah, that's why you're there.
I didn't go to the restaurant to judge people. I went to the restaurant to criticize their food. And so...
But you gotta assess your surroundings a little bit, you know, let's say you walk into a restaurant, there's a cockroach on the ground, you're probably not gonna eat there because you're like, but that's besides the point.
That's a health issue.
Yeah.
Health department's getting a phone call from Mindline.
Regardless of the ethnicity, figure
Yeah.
if you got a cockroach, like, bruh. But, no, I see what you're saying. With the reaction, you know, I would be shocked and I would assess my surroundings and be like, are these people as authentic as they claim to me? But ultimately, you gotta put that plate down, and that will determine everything.
So let's say the dish was, let's just give it, you know, let's say neutral. Let's give it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Okay.
I don't give a lot of people 7s.
Damn. So we'll give it a 5 out of 10. Super neutral. Yeah. But honestly, that's pretty bad in my book. Yeah. If someone gets a 5, that's an F in the grade. So, you know.
Five, in my opinion, is the food wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. That's what a 5 is to me, and a 5 would be like, y'all are just generic. You're probably a chain just trying to make money. Okay, so that's what that would mean to me. Okay, so let's say we're gonna change the situation a bit. Let's say we're going into Taco Bell then, and it's only ran by Chinese people. Okay, would you criticize the manager, or would you criticize the corporation at that point? Because they're still going off of the same recipes, the same menu. All Taco Bells have the same everything. Maybe different states have different specials or whatever it may be. But it is still the same, you know? The same food, same recipes, same cooking procedures. But knowing that it's ran by Chinese people, you know, would that bring you a biased outlook, or would you just look at it as like, oh, this is corporation, this is how this food spot's supposed to be? You know, to be honest, and this is going to be a short answer, if it's a Taco Bell, I'm just going to be like, these are probably the best people for the job. Not race-wise, but I'm definitely looking at the manager, and the manager definitely isn't looking at authenticity because the menu is pretty set. You know, the recipes are going to be the same, so he's just looking for people to perform. And I will be like, dang, there's a lot of Chinese people in here, but it's not going to affect the authenticity of the place for me personally. Because you know that 3 taco special, whatever it is going to be the same. Always the same. It's going to be the same 3 taco special you'll get elsewhere, because whether it's cooked differently or not, it's the same taco special that they're offering. Okay, so... And I'll let you guys know right now, I get the $5 snack box. It comes with 2 tacos and a quesadilla, chips, and a drink. It's been the same every fucking time I've get it for the past 4 years. Just gonna say... So that's an avid Taco Bell eater. Hey, not avid. Don't try. I'm a cyclist, bro. I can't be on that all the time. But, you know, sometimes you get the late night cravings, and the Taco Bell's right down the street, So it really depends on which experience you're kind of looking for. If you're trying to go to a cultural, authentic, traditional restaurant, whatever the ethnicity may be, you're really going for that full experience into that food and culture that they bring into the restaurant. But exactly, if that's what you're looking for, you know, like when we say ethnic restaurant, we're assuming you are wanting to try food from a different culture, you know, so you're seeking that, you're seeking the genuineness of it. For me personally, I'm seeking that heritage, that, like, again, that passed down family recipe, you know, like, I want to taste what makes your shit special. Exactly. So... Wow, that really brings me into perspective with certain Italian restaurants. True, man, because Maggiano's, you won't find one Italian in there. Yeah, like. I mean, there's a lot of Latinos working in there, but at the same time, it's still a corporate restaurant. Fire food, fire recipes, whether it's cooked differently or not, it's still that same recipe. So I guess people just really give them the benefit of the doubt, and if it floats their boat, then damn, let it go. But so let me ask you a question, Sean. Yeah. We reiterate this all the time. We live in California. Silicon Valley. The most melting of the melting pot, I would argue. Okay. With our demographic, you've been exposed to so many different races in so many different places throughout your entire life. True that. So if we reiterate this question, you know, going into an ethnic restaurant with not that ethnicity, with your just upbringing with so many different types of culture, like you can almost say that you don't judge because you're so used to seeing that. Would you agree or disagree with that? I would
I would never judge the restaurant, but I would definitely judge the food that they're So I mean, I don't know if I'm judging the actual service because everyone's gonna get tipped. But the thing is, if the food is terrible, then I'm never going back. Regardless of the ethnicity or the experience. It's just that the experience is what made me not want to go back. And so, if it was. I mean, I'm open to all different cultures and all different cuisines. And so basically, if I'm going there, I'm going there for the food. So if the food is terrible and it's a food I've never had before, that just might mean my taste buds are bad. But if the food is bad and it's ran by a culture completely foreign than the culture I'm going for, if it's like we said, if it's an Ethiopian restaurant ran by Chinese people or Latinos, then I love Ethiopian food. Let me just put that out there. It's delicious. So I'd have to go with an Ethiopian friend to get his perspective on it as well, because then he would give me a fuller, detailed.
Because he has had that upbringing.
Exactly. He's cooked it in his own home. He could tell me the recipe off the top of his head, or I could just be the judge of it and just be like, you know what, I like this a lot, and he'll be like, really? I thought it was terrible. And I'll be like, oh damn, like, I was like,
you know better than me.
Yeah, for real. And so then after that biased review from a source
from a professional,
a credible source, from someone in that heritage who lives and breathes that, then that would change my views on the restaurant, because then I would have a biased outlook. But I wouldn't, I mean, honestly, I'm an avid Yelp reviewer, so I mean, I try to never dog restaurants. I just try to never give them a bad review. But if it is super terrible, if they don't ever visit my table, if I never got a water from the start, then I'm gonna point that out.
If there's say what I gotta say.
Yeah, if there's a fly in my food, I'm not gonna leave out the elephant in the room. I'm definitely gonna call it out. And so, I mean, there's a fine line I like to choose between certain restaurants, and I like to give the restaurants the benefit of the doubt from the moment I walk in to the moment I leave, because that's what the experience that I'm really looking for is about.
And you worked in the restaurant
industry. And I worked in the restaurant industry too, and so I kind of have a feel for it. If it's super busy and my waiter is super busy, like, okay, whatever. As long as I have a full cup of water or whatnot, like, that's honestly all I really need for me to be happy at a restaurant. Like, if I don't have water on me, like, damn, like, I'm just gonna be dehydrated. But like, that's beyond the point right now, because
All right, let me ask you something. This might be a little off topic, but it'll give some perspective to our thoughts. Have you ever been to a restaurant with horrible food but fantastic service?
Yeah, actually.
And how did that make you feel? Like, did you pretend to eat the food and you're like, good, or are you just like, honestly, guys, you're hella nice, but
yeah, I mean, I could. I'm gonna name drop right now. IHOP.
Dang.
I mean, honestly, I could make my own pancakes at home. And sorry, IHOP, but I really can.
Hey, but they're unlimited though.
On one day of the year.
They are now.
What?
Currently, as we do this podcast, I think they're doing unlimited pancakes. So if you guys want to stop listening,
but you have to pay for it.
It's like $4 though.
Okay,
I think.
Oh, all you can eat. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, the all you can eat.
Okay.
So if you guys want to stop listening, I don't blame you. But for those who stayed around, we appreciate you.
I mean, yeah, for that. I mean, sometimes there's been times where I was, the late nights, I went to the Dennys with some friends, and for some reason, no one came to visit our table after 20 minutes. Okay, so this is after we're done eating, right? We've already tried to pay out. No one's came to our table. It's 2:30 a.m. For some reason, we just decided to say and leave. I mean, if we're there for a quick bite to eat, quick bite meeting isn't 30 to 40 minutes, tops, and we've already eaten, we have all of our dishes empty, and we're still sitting there for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, waiting for a waiter. There's just a time where you just gotta dip, because it's either he's sleeping in the back, or
that's an opportunity.
Yeah, or that's an opportunity. For real, though. That's some real shit, though. Nah, for real, though, I probably would dip out.
Okay, so let's bring it all back. At the end, let's just say, let's say the food was a 5 out of 10. Like what you said, it's not bad, it's not good.
Ethiopian restaurant, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Same scenario, Ethiopian restaurant ran by Latinos. What would your Yelp review look like? And let's say you didn't have that professional with you that we addressed earlier. Like, it's just you, fresh palate. I mean, I know you've had Ethiopian food, so you have a little bit of perspective, but...
you know, I'm going to give it, out of a 5 out of 10, I'll stick with the 4, you know?
4.
I don't want to stay in the 3 because, like I said, 1 out of 10, a 3 would probably be like a 5. Mm-hmm. And so I try to stick, out of the 1 out of 5, I'm going to stick with the 4 because I judge the food on the restaurant. And if the food was up to date with my taste buds and it was good food, you know, why am I judging the restaurant on the people who run it? Yeah. That's just not the right thing to do. You can't. That doesn't make sense, really. I mean, yeah, they cooked it, but they cooked it to the standards that I was looking for. So why would I say, you know, the manager was terrible. He didn't know how to make my food, even though it was delicious. Like, there's no way to. There's no right in that, and so I think it's best to not judge, but criticize the restaurant essentially on the food and the experience. If the service was fine, if the food was good, there's no reason to judge the people who are working there, because the way I was raised, that is not right. And so I think that should be a lesson for everybody to know, because in this world of 2018, there's a lot of crazy ass people in this world. And you know, whether they had a great experience, great food, great dish, great time, if they had a Chinese server in an all-white town or whatnot, they might even hate that guy because he was Chinese. I don't know. I'm just might be speaking, but you already know.
You already know.
You already know.
And on that note, I think we're going to wrap up the podcast for Articles of Linguistics. So, we always got to bring in the question of the day. So, actually, we kind of have a unique one that we've been kind of finicking with, so let us know what you guys think. Before, we were going to do crying, but let's hit you with this. When was the last time you felt fully comfortable expressing your emotions in front of someone? And with that question, I'm entailing, why did you express your emotions in front of that person? And why did you feel it was okay to do it in front of that person? Leave a comment below. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, guys. And thanks so much for following along on the Articles of Linguistics journey, you know. We look forward to the future, and we look forward to you guys listening in.
And we see all of your follows, all of your likes, and feel free to message us too, because we want to hear who you are, and maybe even an interview.
Yeah. Quick note, guys. We're doing interviews. If you guys want to get on an interview, sign up. Send us an email. Shoot us a DM or whatnot.
Tweet us. Twitter.
Whatever it may be.
Whatever you young kids are on now.
Zim, 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 bam.